Hey there, it's Simone. I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to share swatches of the inks that I received in the ink swap. My partner Beth Ann sent me 6 inks to add to my stash. And then in the second part of the video, I am going to talk to you about comments that I received after I had sent out a survey on what can be better next time around. So, Beth Ann sent me 6 inks. I'm showing them to you right now in the order of swatching. They are Pennonia Draculea, which I have to say, I saw this ink on a video by Mystery Arts and I had been dying to get my hands on this, so I was super excited that she sent it to me. Then she sent me VanDieman's Black Tongued Spider Orchid, which is a purple. Then Diamine Delamere green, and it's Delamere, but I wrote Delamere. That's just what happens. Then also Diamine Communication Breakdown. Ackerman Dutch Masters, Leeuwen's Cardinal Pars. I don't really know what that means, but well, that's what it was. And then lastly, Stipula Dark Gray. I decided to put also labels on the swatches or the samples that didn't have any labels. Some were just numbered, and the names of these inks you can see on the index card that is above my journal. I usually swatch my inks on Tomoe River paper 52 GSM and coloring cards. 2 of the samples were from previous ink flight boxes, and I assume, or that's how I do these things, that the 4 that she put on the index card were the ones that she picked for me. And then she threw in these 2 because she maybe didn't personally care for them a lot, but she thought that I might like them. So I was thinking of swatching those first, and then I decided, nope, I'm going to go back to the number 1, 2, 3, 4, and then swatch those surplus inks last. I said it before, the Pennonia Draculea was the one that excited me most. I can't wait to put it in a pen, and I have it on my list to add to my ink rotation next month, which is basically next week. I originally had intended to actually film my currently inked video right when I'm recording this voiceover, but I purchased a pen on Fountain Pen Day that isn't here yet. They had some kind of shipment issues, and so they weren't able to send it out right away. So I had to wait a little, but it's finally shipped, and it should be arriving on the weekend when you are watching this video. So I'm hoping to film next week, just right before Thanksgiving, and then have that video ready for you towards the end of the month. This is probably the longest time that I have gone with my currently inked, or the pens that I had inked recently. And I have to say that I'm almost done writing with, I have almost written all of them dry, which is really something that hasn't happened a lot before, but I'm extremely happy about that. So I'm going to just talk about some of the comments. I printed them all out. So I sent out a survey to all of the participants of the ink swap, asking if they had received their swap, if they had communicated with their swap partner, if not, if their swap partner actually ever reached out to them. And then I did the same thing. Did you send out your package? I mean, people who did not send out their package probably wouldn't participate in the survey because they flaked for some reason or another. Maybe they didn't put in their email address correctly and it never came out. I know for sure that someone didn't write com but .con, so that was an easy fix for me. So, of course, 100% of the people who participated in the survey sent out an ink. And then, what else did I ask? What went well for you? What do you think went well? And what would make it even better? And then I also asked the question, would you participate again? But, if you decide not to participate, that's totally fine. That's not a commitment at all. I was just wondering, is that something that you wanted to do once and then that's it? Or is that something that you would be interested in repeating over and over again? Or at least twice? So I asked all of those questions, and then the improvement, like what did you want, what would be even better? That's things that I would like to reply to. So someone said, I didn't get my person's full address. And I asked for addresses in the ink swap, but I have since realized that, first of all, I don't get into any, data, what is it called? Now I'm missing the word. I will not ask for addresses moving forward because, first of all, it makes you reach out to your partner. If you intend to actually participate in the swap, you will have to communicate with them, asking them for your address. So the case that you never even talk to your swap partner is not a given. You will have to talk to them and reach out to them if you want to send out the address. It also makes sure that nothing is transmitted wrong about the address. And then again, I don't have to deal with any I won't be able to sell. You don't have to be concerned about me using your addresses in any other form but for the ink swap because I'm not collecting your addresses. Then somebody said that they keep hearing about people that didn't get anything from their buddy. And to be honest, the feedback that I have gotten so far, and I'm really sorry if you didn't feel comfortable reaching out to me, if you didn't get it. I had 5 people who didn't get it. And the participant number in the swap was about 95 people. So 5 people out of 95 is not a lot. I was able to cover everyone who didn't get one, who didn't get a swap from their buddy. And so everybody should have gotten something. One person commented or did not reach out to me, but I then contacted them after the survey, and they said they deliberately did not reach out to me because they were really happy just sending out the ink and it wasn't necessary for them to receive something in return, which is okay. I can accept that and move on from there. Somebody suggested having a Discord server, and I am pretty open to that, but I have to say that the amount of time that I spent on social media is more than enough right now as it is, and I cannot take on the responsibility of managing and being there on a server like that. That would be way over my head, and I know that wouldn't be good for my mental health. So yes, I'm open to the idea, but I would have to have some moderators who would take on the responsibility to moderate that. But if you all are interested in something like that, please let me know, because we as a community can definitely have a ink swap Discord. Then something else that was brought up was shipping. I really don't know about shipping costs from any country to another country. So if you signed up and were outside of the US, it is on you to research shipping costs for a package about the weight that you have to various different international countries, and see if that amount of money is, if you're willing to spend that amount of money on shipping. Tracked shipping was not required. It was recommended because, of course, it's easier to figure out what happens to a package when it's tracked, but definitely not necessary. And I know that tracked shipping is super expensive from the US to Germany. That's why I never sent any packages to my family. So then maybe not tracked shipping would be the option, with being aware that if it doesn't reach your partner, you would maybe have to send it again. Somebody else also said that they would love to share more inks with more people, and maybe having more than just one person to swap inks with. And I just want to be a facilitator for swapping inks. But of course, if you search for the hashtag InkSwap2022 on Instagram, for example, I'm not sure on YouTube, but there's a lot of people who shared their hauls and what they received from their partner. And I personally think that you could totally reach out to them and ask if they would want to swap with you. If you like somebody's style on Instagram, if you are on Instagram as well, you could start chatting in the DMs and then see if that is leading somewhere. I know that a Discord server would facilitate that as well. It's definitely something to think about. But yeah, do not hesitate to reach out to people on social media and start forming an ink friendship where you swap inks regularly. That's what this was supposed to be all about. It's not necessarily about sending out inks just by default, or, I was very confused when I received an email the day after I had sent out the ink swap partners, where the person said, "Hey, I already sent out the swap." My idea behind this whole thing was that you chat with your partner about inks, their likes, their dislikes. Maybe you find a common ground, something that interests you both, form an ink swap friendship, and then you send out the inks once you formed a better picture of your partner so that you can match their preferences better. That's what this is supposed to be. But if it's not what you want to get out of it, I can totally live with that. If you are happy in the end and your partner is happy, then it was a success, in my opinion. Somebody said, "I didn't realize at first that the person I was sending a package to wouldn't be sending a package to me. Clarity on that aspect would be helpful." So now here is my question. I made a video where I introduced the swap, where I talked about this aspect. When you signed up, in the description of the survey on the top, I said that you are not sending to the person that you are receiving from. And then when I sent out the ink partners, I said the same thing again. So how can I make this more clear so that people understand how the swap is going to take place? I'm lost on that because I don't know how else to say what I'm trying to say. All right, so an open-ended question on the survey where people can just say anything they want their partner to know was also a suggestion, and I thought that I had an open-ended question in the survey. The last one that you want your ink swap partner to know. People use that to say thank you to me for organizing that, which was really nice, and I appreciated you all saying that. But that anybody else who, some people used it to say, please tell my partner to do this and this and this, or I don't care about that. I am on Fountain Pen Companion. And when it was just thanks for doing the swap, then of course I didn't pass it along to your partner, but whatever information was in there, and if it was relevant to your partner, I passed it along. I received bottles that leaked. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about that. I hope that if that happened to you, that you let your partner know in the friendliest way. I know that sometimes happens. I see it on Reddit, on the fountain pen thread, sometimes photos of inks that just leaked. I have found, or Chris Sains has shared a medical pill bags that are so tiny that you can fit each sample in a bag. And in the case that not all of the samples would leak, then at least the other ones would be usable. I hope this doesn't happen again, but that's always the risk that can happen. I don't know what exactly made these ink bottles leak, because I am using the same ones that I see on videos where people say they leaked, and mine never. Maybe they weren't screwed on tightly enough or over screwed. Really, I have no idea how some ink samples leak and some don't. Somebody suggested to having more detailed participation surveys, and that is something, again, that I'm not 100% sure I want to do, because what this swap essentially is supposed to be is facilitating making friends with people who have the same interest as I do, inks. And making friends is best done by communicating with the partner that you're assigned to. So if I'm asking all of those things up front, then there's no reason for you to reach out. So I would love to hear your opinion on that. Am I just not thinking the right things? Am I not? Because that's basically all I can say to that specific thing. Somebody suggested info about Fountain Pen Companion from the very beginning, and somebody else also suggested making that a requirement. Yes, I would have loved to have the info about the Fountain Pen Companion in my survey, the participation where you signed up from the beginning. But to be honest, I didn't know about Fountain Pen Companion, and I didn't use Fountain Pen Companion when I made the ink swap sign-up sheet, because I just hadn't checked it out yet. When somebody else suggested that was the time that I checked it out. I thought it was super useful and helpful, and that's when I added it into the survey, so that people who signed up after that were able to add it to this information to their sign-up sheet. So yeah, next time around that will be in there for sure. I will also encourage everyone who is watching right now to check out that site and maybe start using it. It's really awesome to track your own inks and track your own fountain pen usage. It's an online currently inked all the time. Every time you go there, it's up to date, if you keep it up to date. But I don't want to make it a requirement, because what if some people just don't see a benefit for their personal use and still would love to swap inks? That's not doesn't really make sense to me. So yes, it would be awesome. You could check out what inks the other person has, what they usually gravitate towards, and it's definitely facilitating or making it easy to pick the right inks for your swap partner. But is it really necessary? I don't think so. More time to prepare a package. I think I should have written it down. I think I sent out the email to send it out for your partner on a Friday, and the deadline was the Friday 2 weeks after. And please let me know if that's something that you struggled with as well. It was 2 weeks. Is that too short? Is that just enough time? Is it too long? I thought it was okay because I used inks that I had already in my stash. But if that's something everyone else is struggled with as well, then I'd love to hear your feedback on that. I also definitely want to say that I am going to host the ink swap again in 2023. However, I'm going to move it forward just by about a month so that we don't get too far into the colder season. I know that in the north it starts getting really cold already. We have to, even though it's not anticipated that people don't send out their swap packages after the due date, it happens. So that I don't want that to happen. And also, I noticed that the USPS raised their prices on October 1st to account for Christmas shipping. So maybe we can send them out just before October 1st so that we don't have to pay higher shipping rates. And then the last thing that somebody said was, I think maybe considering age range when assigning partners might be beneficial. And yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I see why that might be important, but let me tell you that interests and hobbies definitely connect people across all age ranges. And it's definitely, I don't know. It's definitely not something that I would like to do because I wouldn't know many people or many people that I'm friends with if I had said that I don't want to be friends with them or I don't want to communicate with them because I am too old or too young. So if that's really important to you and you don't want to send your ink to someone who is a lot older than you or a lot younger than you, then definitely the swap isn't for you. But again, maybe reach out to people on social media. I know that there's a lot of us who share photos, and on Instagram a lot of people are there. A lot of people have YouTube channels here, and you can gauge by their Instagram description, by the things that they post on social media about their age range, and then reach out to those people and ask them to swap with them. Again, if those people participated in the swap, you can assume that they are definitely open to sending or swapping inks with other people. So yeah, that's all I have to say. So I guess I can go back to this swatch party that I had going on right here. I have swatched all of the inks, and I really, really liked the 4 inks that Beth Ann sent out to me, or put the numbers on. Not necessarily the ones from the ink flight box that you can see on the screen right now. And now I'm trying to put on these labels. that just didn't want to come off the sticky back. And it looks like I'm struggling for 3.6 more minutes with the stickers, so I'm just going to cut that out and jump ahead to the ink comparisons. So it looks like I did not have any green that was even remotely similar to the Delamere green. It is more like a Viridian green, a green that I don't have in my stash. So I'm really curious to see how I like writing with it in a fountain pen. I do have lots of purpley colors. So the VanDieman's Black Tongue Spider Orchid and the Ackerman Dutch something something. There's lots of inks that compare with those. I think the closest in color to the VanDieman's ink is the Sailor Manu Akebi. However, that is a sheening ink and the VanDieman's is not. And then maybe the Raspberry Rose by Diamine is comparable to the Ackerman ink. The All the Best is also very close, but again, it's a shimmer and sheening ink. The Pennonia Traculea, I was really surprised that I actually had an ink that looked pretty similar, which was the Diamine Red Robin. It's also pretty, maybe a dirty orange. Does that sound okay? And then also the Robert Oster Campfire Crackle. It's not as red, but it looks very, very similar to the style of ink. And then I do have some grays, like the dark gray from Stipula. Similar in color hue or coolness of ink is the Lennon Toolbar Oyster, but that is just very, very dark in comparison. And then the Urameku Yoi, which is a chromo shading ink. The Diamine Ash is similar in the lightness of the ink. However, it's a warm gray compared to this one, which I assume is not as warm as the Diamine Ash. So yeah, I really enjoyed swatching all of those inks. They're colors that I did not necessarily have in my stash, and I'm really curious to check and see how they perform in fountain pens, because we all know these swatches don't do anything to know how an ink will perform in a fountain pen. They're just for fun. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time. Let me know about all your thoughts about the ink swap, and I will see you soon. Bye.